Some rare animal encounters can be pretty cute, but these ones are pretty weird. Or dangerous. Skin-feeding Caecilian. Some legless, worm-like amphibians known as caecilians have developed an unusual method of child rearing, following in the footsteps of the Suriname toad of French Guiana, which implants its fertilized eggs into its skin, and the extinct Australian gastric brooding frog, which swallows its eggs so the tadpoles can develop in its stomach. Mark Wilkinson and Emma Sherratt of the London Natural History Museum described the first new caecilian species discovered in April 2013 in French Guiana in more than 150 years. Because of this, they were able to explain an unusual and little-known behavior known as skin feeding. With razor-sharp newborn teeth, caecilian babies will eat their mother's skin as soon as they hatch from their eggs. Surprisingly, their mother doesn't seem to mind. After completely removing her skin, the infants will fight over any remaining skin fragments, occasionally engaging in gory skirmishes over the last intact piece. They'll do this for nearly a month after hatching until they're healthy enough to leave the nest. Talk about freaky sibling rivalry. Also can't imagine how painful that feeding must have been for the mom. Sea hare's gooey weapon. You read that right. Pretty funky imagery, right? Sea hares, named after the enormous sensory rhinophores that resemble bunny ears that sit on their heads, are a large genus of herbivorous mollusks. They can grow to weigh up to 2 kilograms, and they project gooey ink that can deter and distract their predators while masking their taste and smell perceptions. The mantle cavity of sea hares contains 2 protective glands. The opaline gland, located in the hollow floor beneath the gill, secretes opaline, a milky white viscous secretion. The ink gland on the cavity's roof above the gill produces purple ink. A siphon in the mantle cavity responds to a threat or attack by pumping one or both of these secretions into the surrounding water to serve as a decoy or repellent. According to a study published in March of 2013, spiny lobsters, the main predator of sea hares, have their chemosensory and motor neurons actively covered by opaline secretion. So much so that the spiny lobsters didn't even detect when food was played directly in front of their spiny lobster nose throughout the studies. Head injecting. No, it's nothing medical, trust me. It's something far more unexpected than words could actually say. Dramatic mating frequently occurs in nature. For example, it occurs when a male injures a female with specialized structures such as the barbs on the penis of domestic and wild cats, which are used to scrape the female's vagina and trigger ovulation. While bedbugs are the most notorious offenders, traumatic insemination has been observed in various worms, snails, spiders, and sea slugs. The goal of traumatic mating is often to inject sperm or other substances into other specific locations on the female. A new species of unidentified sea slug was found to exhibit a never-before-seen head-injecting behavior, according to Rolanda Lange from the University of Tübingen in Germany. Hermaphroditic sea slugs in the genus of Siphoteron have double-barreled penises with sperm-injecting penile bulbs on one side and a syringe-like penile stylet on the other that allow them to inject various fluids into each other during mating. So, yeah, some slugs inject each other in the head for the devil's tango. Creepy. Color change battle. When it comes to male-on-male chameleon battles, size and strength aren't always the most important factors. Sometimes it comes down to mastering what chameleons do best, changing colors. The veiled chameleon of the Arabian Peninsula's southwestern coast is one of the world's largest chameleon species. While females are mostly green with splotches of yellow and white, males have a wide range of colors displayed in distinct patterns along their sides, head, and tail. It's assumed that the male used these color patterns to communicate among themselves during their elaborate courting and territorial behaviors, but exactly what they're saying is unknown. A new study published in Biology Letters investigated the role of color change in aggressive male-on-male veiled chameleon interactions, and not through our eyes or what a typical camera can process, but through chameleon eyes. When 2 male chameleons are faced against each other, something unbelievable happens. They both go through a ridiculous physical transformation. Essentially, the battle for territory and love comes down to who's the flashiest. If the other doesn't back down, that's the only time they trade blows. Intense nookie. An Antechnus is a small mouse-like creature that kills itself through sex. This little Lothario will go at it non-stop for 2 to 3 weeks. In violent frenetic encounters that can last up to 14 hours, he mates with as many females as he can, and he doesn't really do much else after that. He stopped producing sperm irreversibly a month ago, so he has all he's ever going to have. This burst of speed mating is his one and only chance to pass on his genes to the next generation, and he's gonna perish trying. He exhausts himself to the point where his body begins to fall apart. His blood is pumped full of testosterone and stress hormones, his fur is falling out, he's internally bleeding, and his immune system fails to combat incoming infections and he develops gangrene. He's a complete mess, but he still just wants to have sex. He'll be over soon, though. He'll die a few weeks before his first birthday, along with every other male in the area. The technical term for this is semal parity. For me, it just kind of reminds me of Zoidberg, honestly. Thors hero Shrew. A new shrew species has been discovered in Africa, and it has the strongest, most extraordinary backbone of any mammal. Oldfield Thomas, a British zoologist, discovered the first species of African hero shrew, the Scutosaurus somereni in Uganda, a little more than a century ago. While Thomas noted the creature's long, thick fur and relatively large 70-gram body, he overlooked the most fascinating aspect of his discovery: a massive spinal column, unlike any other mammal in existence. Its actual existence went unnoticed for nearly a decade until Joel Allen, curator at the American Museum of Natural History, discovered a preserved hero shrew in his collection in 1917 and its secret superpower. Maybe sad knowing they discovered it late, but worry not, a new hero is in town. Near the village of Balako in the Equator province of the DRC came Thors hero shrew, a second known species of hero shrew. It's smaller and less woolly than its cousin, and has only about 8 rather than 11 lumbar vertebrae, but it's believed it has similar greatness. But it can carry more than several times its weight as well. Deep-sea tentacle behavior. The first footage of the deep-sea squid species, the Grimloteuthis banplati, using tentacle behavior not seen in any other squid, was released in August. The footage, shot by researchers in the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute in California, solves the mystery of how banplati's tentacle clubs have no suckers, hooks, adhesive pads, or photophores. Turns out that none of the things that normal squids, meaning all other squids, use to catch prey are used by them. Researchers learned that banplati is using its useless tentacles as a fishing lure. The researchers believe it works in 3 ways. The squid in question began by waving its tentacle clubs around, and by doing this, it may cause other organisms in the surrounding water to emit a flash of bioluminescence that can attract its prey. That don't work, the club movements produce low-frequency vibrations that may attract prey animals such as crustacean, fish, and cephalopods. Finally, tentacle club movements make a wake, which may cause prey to move towards it, mistaking it for one of its own prey objects or a potential mate. Now it's time for the day's best pick. These guys nearly made a huge mistake, but thankfully their training kicked in. Baby Rhino. What would you do if you saw a baby coming towards you? Chances are you'd be wide and teary-eyed, ushering them to come into your arms. But not with this baby. 5 grown forest rangers opted to climb trees instead. Why is that? Well, because it was a rare newborn Sumatran rhino. Now, the babies alone aren't scary, don't get me wrong, but you know how it goes. Where there's a baby, a mother is observing quietly nearby. Make one bad move, and any mom is ready to pull up their sleeves and throw down with the offender. In 2018, 5 Indonesian forest rangers met a newborn Sumatran rhino in the wild while on a regular patrol. They heard a piercing voice at first, which confused them since they were in the woods until they saw the calf. It's an encounter that conservationists envy, as these creatures are critically endangered, with no more than 80 individuals left roaming the earth. Currently, Indonesia is developing a sanctuary for this species, where the priority is to rescue the rhinos from doomed populations and breed them to grow their population. Deadly mustache. Imagine this. Breeding season. You, male frog, poised for success. You made the perfect romantic little nook in the middle of the stream, which will serve perfectly as an ideal nest that will attract many women to want to make tadpoles with you. But then your pesky neighbor comes all in his big and muscly glory, and he wants to steal your nest. Dinglebird. Also, he didn't come empty-handed. He came with his primed mustache. Yeah, for these inmate toads, a mustache is an essential and violent weapon. This is because males grow about 10 to 16 sharp spines on their upper lips. According to researchers, those spikes are as sharp as pencil lead, and the frogs are not afraid to stab anyone with them should they feel threatened. Among toads, they aim to headbutt right into the other's belly. Now, nobody's ever really seen them kill each other, but researchers who did observe this phenomenon say tons of frogs suffer from puncture wounds. Who knows, maybe a few did die away where all the action took place. Stupid Dinkelberg. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. Natural vitamins. For the first time, female southern bottletail squids have been observed consuming sperm. Southern bottletail squids, specifically known as the Cipedarium austrinium, are found in southern Australia's shallow coastal waters and grow to be only about 4 centimeters long with a hard-to-pronounce name. They spend their days buried in the sand, only emerging at night to feed on small crustaceans, and they defend themselves by hurling a large amount of mucus at their predators. These squid mate head-to-head, with the male depositing sperm packages, also called spermatophores, onto the female's buccal cavity, an external fleshy pouch located just below the mouth. The female will then extract mature eggs from her mantle and test them against the stored spermatophores before depositing the fertilized eggs at the base of the seagrass, seaweed, or rock crevices around her. Females can keep spermatophores in their buccal cavities for up to 3 weeks after a male encounter. They'll also scrape and eat several of these spermatophores. This is usually done by smaller females so that they can produce healthier and more offspring than they could otherwise manage. Still, sounds a little weird though. See you all next time!